Hello everyone. How you doing? Grandma Prepper coming at you from the car again. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. My life. I love it, but it is crazy. So I have been going back and forth with various different tasks and things that I gotta do. And I actually forgot the whole reason that I started recording. Oh my goodness, as if brain fog was not bad enough, but just complete and utter forgetfulness. It's completely insanity. I was going to go to Costco this week and do some shopping. And after I saw the cost of Mother's Day, I'm like, yeah, probably not. I'm hit or miss about my budget. There's times when I will weigh the pros and cons and I decide that, shopping and buying things now is more important than saving a little bit of money on interest. Well, I am so close to paying off a loan that I got last August that I have 5 more payments, and that's if I just make the regular monthly payments, and I never just make the regular monthly payments. So I'm really torn because I want to prep. I want to clean and repair my house. There's a lot of things that I really want to do, but they all take money, and I'm like, I do not want to be spending money right now. And it's so hard for me to justify buying anything. And I know that right now we need to be stocking up more than ever. But I'm just at the tail end of paying off this loan. And I can have it paid off in 3 months instead of 5. If I stick to my budget. Yeah. And I did really good. My last 2 paydays, the payday before, not so much, because I blew my budget, and that meant that instead of having my loan paid an entire month sooner, it's going to be 3 months, and it's going to take a full 3 months, and maybe an additional part of a paycheck. So I am not happy. But, and then on top of that, I'm going through a whole brand new payment system because one of my employers, once again, adapted a new payroll system. They actually went to a whole nother company rather than, just changing the pay dates to suit the wants of the majority. We used to get paid once a month. Then it went to twice a month, the 1st and 16th. And now we're going to, we had to get rehired. The other when it changed companies before, when they changed the payroll company before, it was still under the DSHS umbrella, I believe. But the payroll system, it was just a payroll change. It wasn't an employer change. Well, this time, now it's an employer change. And we started a week ago. April 1st was our first day with our new employer. And I don't like it because there's nobody to talk to. When you call, you get put on forever hold, and then the call gets dropped. Or we call and the system is so busy that it's overloaded and it hangs up on you and says call back later. And I don't even know what my paychecks are going to look like, because I get paid every other week, and it's not the same week as my current employer. We'll call it job number 1 and job number 2. job number 2 is the new employer. So I have been with my old employer for a long time, and now that's going to look bad on my credit having a new employer. That's unacceptable. I mean, there's so many things up in the air with this new job. You know, it's like, when are our timesheets due? You know, there's just, and how much are my paychecks going to be every 2 weeks? And yeah, I'm not a happy camper at all about any of this. And I don't like change. That's my biggest thing. I don't like change when it comes to my money and how my money comes in. Now, the amount can change to a higher amount. Don't get me wrong. But I don't like it when they mess with my money. We used to be able to just work the hours however the client and I wanted to, but now we're restricted to 40 hours a week. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So, you know, my client may need me more next week, so I'll work less this week, or they need me to work more this week, so I work less next week. Well, we get paid overtime. Great. But that only works if you're allowed overtime, and I'm not allowed overtime. Oh, so the frustration of a new job and how, and you know, my finances when I pay things and my due dates, I have set up to come out of specific paychecks because I do get 4 paychecks every month. But like my mortgage is due on the 1st. So, you know, like May 1st. So I would pay my mortgage on April 16th because my paycheck is April 16th. And that's 2 weeks early, so I don't have to worry about it. And then that big loan is due on the 5th. And I would pay that out of my paycheck on the 1st. And that would only be 4 days early. Or, you know, the money would be there on the 1st. And then whatever money was left over would be what I paid my credit cards, my household bills, and those would come out of the other paychecks. And anything left over, anything left over would just simply go to paying something off. And yeah, that usually meant on the 1st because, you know, if you've been watching my videos for any amount of time, you know that I pay May's bills in April. So now that my pay dates are changing and it's going to be every 2 weeks instead of twice a month, I am not sure how that's going to work out. I actually have to sit down and do the math, but I have to get a full paycheck first so that I can see what 40 hours a week times 2 looks like on an actual paycheck. And we're still getting the hazard pay, thank goodness. Just found out that our hazard pay is continuing April, May, and June. And I was not expecting that because we unmasked. The state of Washington is no longer requiring masks except in certain circumstances. And that's me. I have to wear a mask everywhere I go, and I have to wear a mask at work. That's because I care for vulnerable adults and children who, if they got sick, they could very well die. So we don't take chances. And a lot of our people we have to wear masks for anyway, even without a virus running around wreaking havoc on the world. So, you know, masks are a normal thing for me. And not only that, but so that's going to put a couple $100 a month in my paycheck, which is really nice, which means that I can stay on my current plan. But how I actually pay things and which check they come out of, because, well, my mortgage used to come out of one check, and now that I was being paid on the 1st and the 16th. So I always had So we turn our timesheets in on the 1st from the previous month, the 16th, through the end of the month. And that meant that I had anywhere from 11, 12, or 13 days on that paycheck. And that was the paycheck that paid my mortgage, because I had 13 days on it. And sometimes I'd need 100 or 200 out of another paycheck if there were only 10 days. So now, yeah, I'm not going to have 10, I'm only going to have 10 days. Or, 80 hours per paycheck. So I know that I'm going to have to take money from another check to pay my mortgage every time. And that is awful. And not only that, but because it's every other week, it means that the day of the month changes. I'm so frustrated. I literally have to sit down with a calculator and a calendar and redo my budget all over again and figure out what bills get paid out of what paycheck. And I am really tired of my employer doing this to me. Third time. It used to be that with my first job that I was paid on the 1st and 16th, and that was okay. All right, started out that way. I got my bills set accordingly, got my paychecks, paid my bills, and then they went to the every other week as well, because people wanted to know what was their paycheck was going to be. I'm like, if you look at a 10-day paycheck, you know what your base is going to be. But see, we have a new number for our, we have a new number for our hazard pay. So it was like $2.30 something cents. I don't know what it's going to be for the next 3 months. We'll see. It's an interesting time, let me tell you. But we'll get it all figured out. And the other thing too is that I usually, if I don't take a vacation in October, I usually cash out my PTO at both jobs. I don't know what the cash out option is going to be with the new employer, because I like to cash out in October and either use that money for Christmas or pay bills with it so that in December I can use it for Christmas. I don't know. We'll see. It's really frustrating. I don't like budgeting to begin with, but having to start from scratch and do it all over again is really frustrating. And I'm going to have to go back and look at a 10-day pay period and, see what the paycheck is for that, and then do the math from there. And then figure out what days my paydays are going to be so that I know what day to pay what out of. And it's really frustrating because, it used to be that I would get both paychecks from both jobs on the same Friday, or at least in the same week, often. Now both my paychecks are every other week, the other week. So I get paid every Friday from now on from these two jobs. I am not happy about that. If my third and my fourth job decide to pay me at a different time, I'm going to be really mad. Very, very mad. But anyway, I love you guys. And I will maybe show you the budgeting that I do when I do it. I'm not a happy camper. Not a happy camper. At all. I want to cry. I hate math. It's not my favorite subject. And my calculator on my phone, it sucks. When my battery's low and I don't notice, it gives me the wrong numbers. So anyway, all right, now that I'm done whining, now that I'm done growling, I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you all in the next video, either yours or mine. Take care. Bye-bye.